let's take a look at how we can show positive externalities of production in our supply and demand model. So we've got a pretty standard supply and demand model to start with here. Okay, so we've got a supply curve showing the marginal private cost to the producer. We've got a demand curve showing the marginal private benefits to our buyers. But because there's no externalities of consumption here, this is also the marginal social benefit curve. Now, our rational rule for society tells us that we want production where marginal social benefit equals marginal social cost, but we have a problem here because this marginal private cost curve doesn't take into account these positive externalities. We would end up with this as our market quantity, right? Because the seller treats this marginal private cost curve as the cost of producing each extra unit. The demand curve is our represents the decisions of buyers about how much to buy, and so they'll agree on this quantity here, 60 units of production. But there's a problem here. Our problem here is this doesn't incorporate all of the true costs to society. We've got these positive externalities. So how do we show them? Well, if they're positive externalities of production, we're going to show them on the supply curve. When they were negative, we said the true cost was actually higher. So when they're positive, we're going to say that the true cost is actually lower. Our marginal social cost curve is going to be down lower than the marginal private cost curve. Okay, so it's going to look like this here. Here is our marginal social cost curve, leading to a socially optimal or societally optimal level of production out here at 70 units. Okay, so we're going to actually end up with underproduction here. Too little is going to be produced by the market compared to the socially optimal level of production. Because remember, our demand curve is our marginal social benefit curve, absent any externalities, and so where those two cross, our rational rule for society says should be our quantity that's produced. But if we actually produce this amount instead, 60, then we experience a deadweight loss, because those last few units of production would have been beneficial to us as a society, but we don't gain the benefit of them. Okay, so what does our deadweight loss look like here? Well, if we had a quantity that was really close to this optimal point, then we would get very little deadweight loss. But as we move further and further away, we're going to get more and more and more. This deadweight loss results from the difference between our marginal social benefit curve, our true benefit curve, and our marginal social cost curve, our true cost curve. So as we miss out on these units of production, we miss out on those benefits. We could have had a trade between this person here, a buyer who valued this product at $13, and say a seller producing that unit there with a true cost of only $9. That trade would have been beneficial for society, but doesn't take place. So we end up with deadweight loss equal to this triangle in here.